The sports page these days, you read about a high school or college athlete who has been declared academically ineligible. But that is not the story for the Arlington High School boys basketball team. The St. Paul Public School opened only 4 years ago, and like any new school, it has struggled in sports against more established programs. But the boys basketball team seems to have turned a big corner this year. It has a winning season, and not a single varsity player, get this, was declared ineligible. That's even more remarkable when you discover Arlington players have tougher academic standards than players at other schools.
My name is Terrence Dobson. I'm a senior here at Arlington High School. I hold about a 3.3 GPA average, and I'm undecided on what college I want to go to.
Right away, you notice it.
I've been a good student from probably the second quarter of a freshman year on. Tremendously gifted, started dunking a sophomore year.
Whenever you talk to a player or the coach, you're as likely to hear about the grade point average as you are points per game.
My name is Charles Alexander McDonald. I'm a senior. My grade point average is 3.45. I want to study law in college. Good job.
When Christopher Oley was hired as Arlington High School's first basketball coach 4 years ago, he decided to adopt higher academic standards than required. All high school athletes must have a 2.0 grade point average to play. A player with a D in a subject is still eligible as long as he or she has at least a B in another class. Oley decided his players had to have a 2.5 average and no Ds, period.
It's hard to argue from saying, you know what, I want you to be above average in a student. I think you should go to school. I mean, those are just principles that you just can't argue too often. Now, some parents in other schools, other coaches have told me that that they probably couldn't do that. But we've been doing it from day one. That's the two options I want to see. I want to see that again. Perfect. Do it again.
Over the past 4 years, a number of players thought when an important game was on the line, Oley would make an exception for them.
Well, you know, no one believes that because I'm a star. Coach, I'm a star. You need me. And we let people know right away that it wasn't the case.
My name is Danny Roberts. I hold a 3.0 grade point average. I want to go to North Carolina College.
We have Danny Roberts, number 12. He's from out of state. Changing his life, has made some choices in the past that he's not proud of, and is doing an unbelievably great job right now.
He took the ACT.
Took the ACT. I mean, he's dreaming about going to college.
Oley says many kids like Roberts will turn their lives around if they're persuaded that working hard in the classroom will lead to a better future.
Well, I always wanted to go to college, but the way I was going, I don't just think I was going to make it to college, so I just stopped thinking about it, you know what I'm saying? And then when I got up here with Coach, he gave me a real good future.
Many of his students come from families where no one has gone to college, so Oley literally shows them the way.
Every year we go somewhere. This year we went to St. Olaf. We went to Northwestern Roseville. We get a busload or a car full of kids, and we go call up the minority recruiter or whatever and say, I have young men from the ages of 14 to 18. What do they need to know?
I guess my mom has always been on my back about kind of going to school and grades, but definitely when I was a freshman here and I went on my first college visit with Coach Oley, I think that's when it really hit me that I needed to go to college and wanted to go to college.
That was because we made a path. We said, this is how you're going to do it. I have everything lined up. Just do it, trust me. And they did all the work, but they're going to get all the benefit.
After-school tutoring is provided, and Oley does something else not required by the rule book.
You have all spoken to your teachers. Your grades should be in order. I need to have a grade sheet by Friday of this week.
There's a grade check every week, not just at the end of the grading period. If your GPA has slipped below a 2.5, you don't play until the grades improve.
It was kind of different because where I came from my junior high, they didn't stress like grades. It wasn't not like that, but our coach pretty much did. Cares about you more as a person than the athlete.
There's like a higher expectation off the court than on the court. Coach knows the limitations on the court, you know. You're not always going to have the best players on the team. You're not going to, you know, always be the greatest, but off the court, you can do something about that, you know. I mean, even if you're not, you know, the greatest student, you can push yourself and become a really good student, and anybody can go to college, and that's what Coach wants us to do. All go to college.
Conway with the ball. He tries to dribble past Regina, but he can't do it.
On the court, Arlington has used speed and a relentless full-court defense to put together its best season yet, 15-7. But the team would be a lot better if it had some size. The tallest eligible player is only 6'2". Oley would love to play a certain freshman, but he won't.
We have a young man who is 6'8" and unbelievably talented. Would be the most talented player I will probably ever coach in my career. I have yet to have a chance to coach him because he's not listening. He's got support, he's got help. He's a very nice young man. He's very young in his heart and is not willing to put that effort. That young man is getting letters from Division I schools. He would start for me in varsity, or certainly play an awful lot this year as a freshman in varsity. I have known over 6'2", and he's 6'8", and he's talented. He went to 3 practices this year, and that was after February, after benching him till February 1st. And that's hard, and there's a very good chance he may not be in my building next year.
Chances are the kid will be playing at a school which isn't quite as concerned about grades. Despite that, Ole believes the higher academic standards are starting to attract better athletes.
And now we're getting people who are calling us up and saying, I got some students that I want to come to your school now because of the grade program. We had kids that were played in 8th grade all-star game that came here with parents and had a visit. What they want to know is if we were going to be on their kid, if we would have enough guts to bench their child. They wanted that.
But don't be fooled, this team wants to win on the court now. A trip to the state tournament this year is a possibility. In the team's very first year, it was a distant dream.
4 years ago, my current seniors were freshmen. We held hands and sat in a darkened Civic Center floor on a Friday of the state tournament and said, this is where we want to go 4 years from now. What is it going to take for us to go there? And through all these emotional battles, those seniors are still with me, and now we got a chance to go somewhere. And we're a good team. Not a great team, but a good team. But a great bunch of young men. And now we have a chance to be competitive. Turn them again!
Whatever happens during the playoffs this year, Ole says every senior on the team should be in college next year, most of them with some kind of academic scholarship.
Yeah, I don't care if they play basketball. That's not my point. I could care. I want to go to school. When I got St. John's here recruiting my kids because they're good students, I'm doing my job. Some of my kids will be first-generation college kids. And can you imagine the impact of a life if they became a teacher? We have a school district that doesn't have people of color. If I can have them go to a state university or a private college and they became a teacher, they would get hired in St. Paul in a heartbeat. They'd make a good wage. They'd go get a master's. They would have children. Their children will now expect to go to college. We just changed 3 or 4 generations. As simple as